Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for joining me once again and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, this is actually a collection update. That's what I'm going to talk about. So some albums which I recently picked up, just because you know how it is, every once in a while you need some new music when you sort of overkill your existing collection. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Really there is a running theme with this, which is Finnish black metal. So it was an order which I made from Hell's Headbangers, which is a really great place to shop, obviously. And just by coincidence, I don't know, all these releases happen to be Finnish, so there is a cohesive theme to this video. So obviously Finland is well established in terms of black metal, and it's really thrived, that whole scene, since the late 90s and early 2000s. I know there were bands like Beherit and Impaled Nazarene in the early 90s, but then it really exploded in recent years and it's produced some really high quality bands. So yeah, that will be the content of my video. Just before I start, this is what I'm playing in the background, Baptism with the Devil's Fire. Also a Finnish black metal band. So, you know, I talked about this one in a recent collection update. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go and look at it. But just great, harsh Finnish black metal. Kind of, I said in that video, it's well produced and sort of in the vein of Gorgoroth, which is a common theme for a lot of these Finnish bands. So anyway, check them out if you haven't. This is Baptism with Devil's Fire. Alright, so in this video I've got, how many CDs? 5 or 6? 3, 4, 5 CDs and 1 record. So I'm going to start by talking about the CDs. First of all, I just got these promo stickers from Hell's Headbangers, so always nice that they include these in the package. And here's a promo for a band called, I think, Godlord, I'm not sure, with the album Schwarzwald. So maybe this band is similar to some of the bands I've ordered, so I'll check them out anyway. Alright, so going into these CDs, I'm just talking about them in alphabetical order basically. So the first one I picked up was Drowning the Light with the Land of the Dead Sun. So some of you might be saying, hang on a minute, Drowning the Light is not a Finnish band. That's true, but if you know the background of this CD, you'll understand why I've included it in this video. So Drowning the Light is a one-man black metal project, primarily, you know, using session musicians, actually from Australia. And I found it surprising that he comes from Kiama, which is a coastal town just a couple of hours drive from Sydney, of all places, but why not? You know, like black metal, quality black metal comes from all over the world. And I thought, yeah, that's just interesting. Yeah, so not far from my hometown, but yeah, the reason why I've included this in the Finnish theme is because it was actually made in collaboration with some Finnish musicians. So just show you the back here. It's a 4-track EP, I think, released under Hammer of Hate Records. Yep, which is run by Kadotus from Anal Blasphemy. And interesting that I mention him because he comes into the picture. Okay, so you can see here, this is a group effort. And as I mentioned, done in collaboration with some Finnish musicians. So really nice booklet, first of all. And they show each of the members here performing live. And that's Asgore there, the guy behind Drowning the Light, and the session musicians, Finnish session musicians. Really nice booklet, as you can see. And there's some liner notes on the background of this album, which I'll talk about briefly. But yeah, you see here, who have we got? It's somewhat of a supergroup from a variety of Finnish bands. So there's Asgore, you've also got Stormheit, Kadotus, and Shatraug. So for those who know anything about Finnish black metal, those musicians probably need no introduction. Like Stormheit, he's played in a variety of bands, including the solo band of that name. As I said, Kadotus is the sole guy behind Anal Blasphemy, and then Shatraug, of course, is the guitarist for Horner. So somewhat of a supergroup, the Australian one-man black metal band playing with these other 3 musicians of well-established Finnish bands. So basically, I think the background of this album is that Asgore came to perform some shows in Finland for his project, but because it's a one-man band, he needed some live members. I'm just guessing. So he hired some musicians from these well-established bands, and they performed with him. And then as a result of that concert, he then created a studio album with those members. So this is really a band effort featuring all of those members. What can I say about the music? It's very Finnish sounding. actually, which is, again, probably no surprise. It reminds me a lot of Latter-day Horner, and again, no surprise, because Shatraug is the guitarist. But yeah, it's got that very sort of Finnish black metal vibe and feeling, you know, with the riffs, those like hoarse, bleak sounding riffs and everything. So it was, yeah, it's quite a good album. When I first heard this, I have to admit, the first track, Yearning Under the Winter Moon, upon first listen, I didn't really think much of that, to be honest. And I think maybe it's because it was a little bit happy sounding is the wrong word, but you know, usually when I listen to black metal, I enjoy it when it's like a melancholic or it's a dark atmosphere, but this was something different. But anyway, still different. But every time I've listened to this album, I've actually enjoyed it more and more. So 4 tracks, as I said. My favorites though are Our Lands Stained in Blood and The Strigoi Rises. They are tracks 2 and 3. Just with those tracks, I don't know, it's just invoking that grim sort of melancholic feel, which I enjoy. Track 4, North and South Unite, is also a good track as well, and that's got some, it's more of a mid-paced track rather than blasting all the time. But yeah, I wouldn't go so far as saying this is run-of-the-mill black metal, but you know, pretty standard Finnish sounding black metal. It's bleak and it's harsh, but you know, it creates an atmosphere. But as I said, it grows on me more and more with each listen. So the only track I don't like that much is the first one, but the others are pretty good. So anyway, by the way, this band Drowning the Light, he's got a shitload of releases, so many, and done many in collaboration. I've heard other albums which I enjoyed a lot more than this, so I would say if you haven't heard this band, maybe start with another album. I'll go into that later. This is Drowning the Light with The Land of the Dead Sun. Okay. Now, you see how in this Finnish scene, it's interesting that a lot of these musicians are interchangeable or incestuous musically in the sense that they collaborate on a lot of each other's projects. So, and often they have multiple projects as well. So this next one I'm going to talk about, this is Moon Citadel with Night's Scarlet Symphonies. Okay, so I'll just take this out to avoid the glare. Yep, so obviously Moon Citadel is a Finnish black metal band again, and remember I just spoke about Stormheit, it's primarily the creation of that guy. So in this group, he's responsible for the vocals and all of the instruments. Yeah, vocals, guitars, bass, keyboard, and piano. And then there's a drummer who also does chanting. He goes by the rather succinct name of Fourth Caller of Black Gnosis and the Ancient Hyperborean Spirit. Yes, that's his stage name. So, 2-man black metal band. Yeah, I heard about these guys through other YouTube videos, and I thought, just based on people's descriptions, I thought it might be up my alley. So I bought this, you know, just on a whim, and was not disappointed. I love this album. It's amazing. So just show you the disc first of all. So like they haven't shied on the packaging here. Just really nice stuff. And I'll show you the booklet as well. So this is actually a painting from the 1800s, so sort of suits the atmosphere here. Nice readable lyrics, which is great for me, and brilliantly scripted lyrics as well. Nice portrait of the band here. Yep, and I also like the logo of this band, Moon Citadel. Okay, so if you haven't heard of this band, basically the way I would describe it is melodic symphonic black metal. So just to be accurate about that, a lot of people think when something's melodic, it's happy. No, not necessarily. This certainly isn't. It's just very, it's got these melodies that you can sing along to. They're extremely catchy, and all created by the guitars, which is good. At the same time, it's symphonic. Now, I know when a band uses keyboards, that doesn't automatically make them symphonic, except with this particular band, it definitely is the case. It does sound symphonic. A lot of the synths, they do imitate the organ sound, but also string instruments. So it's very epic, grandiose, majestic black metal. Not as much as Emperor. You know, like Emperor in the Night Side Eclipse, the keyboards are very in your face and they saturate and overwhelm everything in a good way. In this one, they're kind of dim and in the background, and they just lift the melody and atmosphere a bit, which is great. But yeah, on this album, it's not blast beats all the time either. It's a lot of mid-pace and marching riffs, which are just really epic and grandiose. Also a mixture of rhythms and beats. It's just extremely, extremely catchy. Now, the mix, the production, the vocals are excellent, like very standard black metal vocals, but done very well. You can hear all the instruments clearly, which is great. So I think the production is good quality. As I said, the keyboards are in the background, but deliberately, just to lift the melody slightly. But yeah, you have some really great keyboard melodies in this as well. It's just fantastic. So some of my favorite tracks, the whole album is damn good, but some of my favorites, track 3, which is Dweller of the Lotus Moon, and also track 6, Whispering Cry of Magic Undying, track 7, Monumental Silvery Thorns, and track 8, Night Scarlet Symphonies, the title track. So this album is definitely an album to listen to from beginning to end. It's all-encompassing. You just get lost in this darkly realm of the music. It's very majestic, atmospheric, symphonic. I think they don't sound exactly like these bands, but I think you might be interested to check out this band if you like bands such as Emperor, early Emperor, Vargrav, the Finnish band which sort of imitates Emperor as well, and also Nocturnal Mortem. Yeah, that's the funny thing actually, this band is Finnish, but it's got that kind of atmosphere and melodies sometimes which remind me of what a lot of those Ukrainian and Russian bands are doing, which in a way kind of makes sense because Finland's in that vicinity. So yeah, it's got a kind of Eastern European feel and atmosphere in some parts, but like really high quality stuff. Like I only got this album a few days ago and I've already listened to it like 5 times. Very easy to listen to multiple times in a day. So just excellent stuff. So that's Moon Citadel with Night Scarlet Symphonies. All right. Coming up next, I've got 3 CDs by one band, kind of. So if you've seen previous videos of mine, you'll know I'm a fan of Satanic WARMASTER. I already own a few of their or his albums, but I just decided to fill some gaps in the collection because I don't own all. Like again, it's another band, they've released a shit ton of stuff, so it's quite hard to keep up, especially in terms of the splits and everything. But yeah, I just decided to pick up a few more. So going into the next album, this is Satanic WARMASTER with Opferblut. Okay, so this album came out in 2003, I believe. Yeah, recorded in winter 2002 to 2003. Yeah, so really nice disc and design. Yep, it's kind of that silver foil. The only thing is, I do like these digipacks, except if you get your grubby fingers on them, it can mark it. But anyway, really nice. So no lyrics or anything, doesn't come with a booklet, just got this. I kind of like that minimal design of the pentagram there. But yeah, this is one where it was actually performed as a band. So you see it was Satanic Tyrant Werewolf on vocals and bass, Lord War Torek on guitar, and Lord Sarcophagian on session drums. Yeah, so kind of a group effort. But what can I say about this? If you know Satanic WARMASTER, it's the kind of Satanic WARMASTER that you know and like just really awesome riffy Finnish black metal, super catchy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Werewolf is just a riff machine, riff master. Like he just full of riffs. Like they just keep pumping out in every song. Like on this album, like every track pretty much grabs your attention. And it sounds funny when I say this, but like there aren't particular standout tracks because they're all good, but it's again this one of these overall listen albums where like every track you're going, damn, that's good, with every single song. So really, really enjoy this. This is one where sometimes I've played it twice in a row. That's how good it is. Just these riffs, they really just grab you and they're, I don't know, addictive basically. So anything more to say about this? We'll come to it. Yeah, now the rhythms on this album, there's a lot of blast beats and fast riffs, but they are interspersed with upbeat mid-pace riffs and 2/4 drumming, like yeah. So again, like just got some. It shifts with consummate ease into these really like raging parts to like just catchy and upbeat tempos. So very, very nice. As I said, it's more of an overall album listen, but 2 tracks which stand out to me, although they're all good, are tracks 6 and 7. So Rain Falls and Farewell to the Fallen. Just with track 6, that's a slower track with not using drums all the time, so it stands out as a bit different. And Farewell to the Fallen just got some amazing catchy riffs on that song. But really, this whole album from beginning to end is great. So if you haven't heard it, I recommend it. Satanic WARMASTER with Opferblut. Okay, so coming up next to another Satanic WARMASTER album. This is Revelation of the Night. Okay, so just a bit of background. This is a compilation CD. It's actually 2 releases joined in one. So Of the Night from 2004 and Revelation from 2007. So the 2 titles are combined for the name of this release. And basically, once again, what you have is just a release of solid Finnish black metal. So yeah, 7 tracks on this, and some are quite long actually. So that's interesting. The first one, Of the Night. Some of the tracks on there, they have a kind of, to me, they invoke the vibe of early Dark Throne, early Mayhem, also aspects of Burzum, so no complaints there, because they're some of my favorite bands. But again, it's still got his distinct, unique style. So he's not just blatantly ripping off those bands. And the tracks on Revelation are also great. So again, yeah, not too much to say, just like a solid riffy Finnish black metal again, really good. Again, I still find this as an album where there's not so many standout tracks, but as an overall listen, it's great. So really, I think this band just can do no wrong in terms of releases. I've never heard of a bad release from this band. But yeah, it's one of those albums, like, it's great background music, and I don't mean that in a patronizing ways, and it's not very good to listen to. It's actually awesome, but it's just producing that background atmosphere, which is amazing. Yeah. All right. Yep, so another solid release from Satanic WARMASTER. That's Revelations of the Night. Okay. All right, so coming up to the last CD that I'm going to talk about today. This is actually a Satanic WARMASTER split. This is Satanic WARMASTER and Clandestine Blaze. So 2 Finnish bands. Clandestine Blaze is a well-established Finnish band as well, so this was released on Northern Heritage. Comes in this digipack. And what's interesting about this one is it's a collaboration. So I think Clandestine Blaze is also primarily a one-man black metal band as well as Satanic WARMASTER, and what this is the 2 bands teaming up, so writing and performing songs together. So for the first 4 tracks anyway, so the introduction, My Torments, that's got a like dungeon-like dark atmosphere, sort of a noise track with some gurgled vocals, a little bit similar to some of the, you know, that Burzum intro to Debts on Ingang Var, like that, in that kind of vein anyway. And then so the next 3 tracks, they're the collaboration between those 2 members. And yeah, how can I describe this? It's raw black metal. Like, I would say it's nothing groundbreaking exactly, but it's raw, but you can still hear everything clearly. There's a good variety of tempos, so some fast blast beats and also some slow 4/4 drum kind of tracks. And also, in the beginning especially, there's a few Burzum influences you can hear, but at the same time it retains the Finnish sound. And what I like about the riffs on this album is they're very sort of bleak and melancholic sounding. So it's good stuff. And this is another one I think where it's just going to grow on me more and more. I've heard it a few times. It's one of those overall listen albums again, but I really do enjoy it. So they're the first 4 tracks. Then tracks 5 and 6, when they've stopped collaborating, then they do 1 track each. So the Clandestine Blaze track is called Guided by Black Light. I really like that one. Actually, I prefer that of the 2 solo ones, because that one, it's quite slow, so it stands out a bit, and it's also got the murkiness and that haunting atmosphere similar to Dark Throne's Goat Lord album, which I think the production of that album, the atmosphere was unique. I think it really resembles that quite well, so I really do like that track. And then the Satanic WARMASTER track, To the Legions, just another solid track from that band. So yeah, fantastic. And then the last track, the outro, it's got this kind of minimalist folky melody with some crashing drums, so like a bit primitive sounding, but deliberately so, but then this melody which is sort of catchy and sticks in your head. So yeah, very interesting album. The lyrics are reasonably readable, which is good. And yeah, so interesting idea. 2 bands joining forces and playing tracks together and then doing 1 track each. So that's the compilation by Satanic WARMASTER and Clandestine Blaze. Okay. All right, the last album I'm going to talk about today is actually a record, also by Moon Citadel. This is a long title, so bear with me. This is Moon Calls to Wander, The Winter's Majesty. So I had to keep that in front of me to read it. First of all, look, sorry about the glare there, it's very shiny. Look at that artwork, it's absolutely brilliant. Great logo, as I mentioned, but I really like this cover art, so cool. And the back. So this one doesn't come with any inner sleeve or anything. It's basically yeah, just no frills. But as I mentioned, Moon Citadel is a project primarily by Stormheit, who is in various other bands, and there's also the drummer by the same name, fourth caller of Black Gnosis and the Ancient Hyperborean Spirit. So, two-man band again, same lineup as the other album that I spoke about. But this one's a little bit different. Remember the previous one I spoke about, that's very symphonic. This one is, to a sense, but it's slightly different. So how would I describe this particular album? First of all, it's a compilation, so it's got the Moon Calls to Wander the Winter's Majesty EP, and As Night Wind Embraced and the Shadows Caressed demo. So 6 tracks all in all. So how would I describe this compilation as a whole? It's black metal, but to me it also has like a pagan metal vibe with the atmosphere and the melodies and also the rhythms. So what you've got here is bombastic striking melodies and thunderous hard drumming. So when you hear the drum fills, especially the tom-tom drums, it's great. It's just thunderous and heavy. It's fantastic. Why do I say that it's got this pagan metal vibe? A lot of it's mid-paced and just the overall atmosphere, I would say. So there are blast beats, but a lot of really catchy mid-paced rhythms and melodies. The rhythms are in fact incredibly catchy. You're tapping, you're nodding along to this all the time, at least I was. And it also, apart from that, it also includes some spoken word interludes, some synthesizers, and some acoustic guitars for added atmosphere. So it's really got everything. It's an absolutely brilliant release. Yeah, now the production on this as a whole, it reminds me of early Satyricon. So when I say early Satyricon, think of Dark Medieval Times, and also the demo tracks that are on the Crusade from the North album, you know, where the drums are really heavy and clattery, and it's quite sort of a punch in the face kind of harshness to it, which I really like. Yeah, so everything, while it's like that, you can hear everything clearly, as you could on the early Satyricon. So this is like that perfect blend between melody and catchiness and bitterness and harshness. So this whole record, from beginning to end, is a fucking masterpiece in my opinion. I love every single track. It's great. I do have a couple of favorite tracks though. So from the EP, my favorite track is Dance of a Dark Pagan Spell, The Dreaming Equinox. And from the demo, my favorite track is The Lord of the Moon Realm, also the Earl of Nightfall. So yeah, as I said, very interesting atmospheric black metal. This is quality. I think Moon Citadel is one of my most favorite new bands for me, like in terms of bands I've newly discovered. They are amazing, and I can't wait to hear more material from these guys. So that's Moon Citadel with Moon Calls to Wander, The Winter's Majesty. But this is absolute quality. Both Moon Citadel albums, I recommend them highly. Alright everyone, so believe it or not, that's the end of this video. I don't want to go into too much detail with the albums because you can just go and listen to them yourself. Sorry if you think I have gone into too much detail, but sometimes I can't help it when I get enthusiastic about the music. So if you've made it through this video, thanks a lot for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up to show your support. I'd really appreciate it. If you like the video and you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And I really appreciate everyone's support of this channel, whether you watch or subscribe or comment. It's just fantastic. So yeah, I'll be back again soon with another video, probably going back to my existing collection, and I'll tell you more about that later. So in the meantime, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.